Okay. How many of you are taller than your parents? Raise your hands. No, I'm wrong with that. How many of you are shorter than your parents?
Yeah.
I just want you to keep these thoughts in mind, right? We're going to watch another video that explains nature versus nurture. Then I'm going to give you what I think, what I believe, okay? And then we're going to go into a little examination of twin studies. All right, so let's watch this second video.
What about the second question?
Did we address the second question? Are some people born in town?
Oh.
I think
All right, time out. Are people born with talent? Okay, we're going to respond to this question now. Jacqueline.
I think some people, a small percentage of people are born with talent. There's people who sing, like they're just naturally, like they're just naturally like that. But there's some of the people like, okay, for example, artists, like they're born around artist people and then they just learn how to draw and like, you know, some talents, depending on the talent, some people I think are born with it.
Okay. Shut up.
I think people are born with it too because my uncle, he draws. And my little cousin, he's only 5. He's like an artist. Really? Yeah, like it was passed down. He was just born drawing. He would draw like SpongeBob and stuff. And you're like, what is that? And you can tell what it is. Nice.
Anybody else? You think people are born with talent, or do they become talented?
I think it will work both ways. Like some people, they're born with it. And just because if you don't think it's though you're born with it, you can still develop it. It's still, you think it works both ways. If you're not born with it, you can't develop it. It doesn't mean just because you weren't born it can't happen.
We're going to watch this video. It's about a minute long, and it's going to take a second.
How we behave given situations. Research.
Time out. Can you guys hear?
No.
Alright. Well, I need for everyone to be quiet so that we can hear. I'm going to start it over. Give me 1 sec, I'm going to turn up the volume on the computer.
Say they are learning now that genes.
Here we go.
We are all born with certain physical characteristics determined by our genes. So does our DNA dictate how we act? Genes very well determine how we behave given situations. Researchers say they are learning now that genes help control how we interpret our environment.
There has to be some kind of innate circuitry in place that allows us to create culture and acquire culture and do the learning.
But can environment influence which genes are triggered?
What really matters is which genes are turned on and which genes are turned off. And different genes are turned on and off in different circumstances.
That leads to debate over the role parents play in influencing their children.
Parents aren't the only aspect of the environment. There's also the surrounding culture.
Some believe the stronger social influences happen outside the home.
Children live in separate worlds, and each world is very important, but there's very little carryover from one world to the other. And what is carried over is whatever is genetic.
Controversial author Judith Rich says, how well a child turns out is up to the child, not the parent. Others find that troubling.
We encourage parents to be defensive or hopeless or helpless in the face of certain challenges that they would assume were genetic.
As the debate rages, what's clear is that as scientists study DNA, they're learning more about ways to fight disease and perhaps understand better what makes us tick. I'm Dr. Dean.
All right. You have 2 minutes now with a partner again. The first question is, how much of a role do parents play in how successful environment matter more in the development of a child? You have 2 minutes to discuss these 2 questions with the partner.
For the first one, I believe that the parents do play a role, and whether or not they're successful or not, but it all does come down to the child, so whether or not he's going to succeed.
Okay. So Joel said the parents do play a role, but ultimately it comes down to the child. Julian.
I think they play a big role because depending on how they treat their kid, like if they spoil their kid, because it ends up as a kid like being lazy and not want to work and trying to get everything, and used to get everything. Now if they put discipline, then the kid will learn how to work for it, to get their own stuff, and like that.
Okay. So Julian was talking about 2 things: spoiling the child versus instilling discipline. And he said either way, it's going to impact the kid tremendously, right? So you believe parents have a greater influence on the kid himself or herself?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go Jack.
From kids, now when you're growing up, that's on you.
So what age is a kid not affected by the parents?
I don't know, like 13, 14.
No, I think that's when they're no longer kids.
13 or 14? One at a time?
I think it is when the kid actually gets to go out and start going hanging out with their friends and stuff. But before, when they used to just stay home all the time with their parents, that's what it affects.
I heard a few different voices. I'm gonna go Joanna.
I think that like not all parents play a big role because there's some parents that don't really care like what their children doing, so they just want to have a good time. And there's some parents that are like really strict with their kids, and they're like, no, you can't do this and that. So it's like they don't care.
Okay. At what age do you think it's no longer the parents' influence, and now the child is gonna make their own path in life? I'm gonna go for a few. I'm gonna go Taisha, Shada, and Larissa.
I think that the parents' influence never stops. For the simple fact is that when we do become our own, sometimes for most kids or young adults, their decisions that they make, in the back of their mind, they still have the values that their parents taught them. Whether they follow it or not is a different thing, but their parents are still impacting them to that day. Because if you ask them, like, why you make certain decisions, it's because the household like grew with it. So like certain things are just no-nos, you know you're not doing that. And some things that even though they were no-nos, you still make your own decision. So I think it's at the point where it's like probably like 16, 15, when you start to make your own decisions, but your parents are still influencing you, even though it's your own decision.
Good point. Shada?
I think the same, like, where, like, you're always gonna know what your parents taught you, like, regardless, you're not gonna just completely forget about it. But I think, like, once you get to high school and you start, like, being on your own, then it changes, like, your views on a lot of things change. And you start doing whatever you want because you think that you know everything. Like, that's just how kids are. That's how you get to a certain age, that's how you feel. So I think once you get to, like, high school and you know, like, what you're supposed to do, it all depends on you mostly. Like, before that, it's definitely your parents' influence.
Loris?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Jessica, did you have something to say?
Yeah, like I feel like you're always gonna have like the things they taught you and the morals that you learn in the back of your head. Like, oh my God, if my parents knew about this, and how would they feel? Is this right? Is this wrong? I shouldn't be doing this. You're always gonna have it in the back of your head.
Loris, and then
I actually feel like
Have you
your parents, I actually feel like your parents influence you even when you do the wrong things. Like for example, I know kids that have lived in a household where their parents don't let them go out and they weren't able to explore. And when they did do the wrong things, they were still kind of influenced by their parents because it was never by their parents stopping them from doing those kind of things. They would have been curious of doing those things in the first place. So in a way, your parents still influence you whether it's good or bad.
I just remember when I was little, my parents would always tell me, watch when I get older, I'm going to start acting almost how they are. And I would never say I won't. Now I see myself and I'm older. I
I should still say these my mom said.
yeah. How many of you find yourself morphing into your mom or dad? Or do you find yourself saying the same types of things that they said?
My dad loves me and probably I
Hold on.
that I'm actually my mom.
Go ahead, repeat it, Jasmine.
My dad, he stares at me and he's like, you're acting and it's starting to look a lot like your mom. You're saying the same thing she does, you think the same way she does. It's scary.
Her father tells her she's starting to act and look like her mother. She says she hates it. Jess?
Like lately, like every time like there's no school, I make some like little run with my little sister. So yesterday, I remember they kept telling me, oh, let me use your computer, let me use your computer. I'm like, no, let me make my bed first, let me clean my room, and then afterwards you can. And he went without telling me anything, so I caught him in my room, and I started yelling at him, and I go to your room, he's like, ew, you sound like mommy and daddy, go away. And I'm like, really? And I just like stepped back and I'm like, wow, I really did just sound like my parents.
It's scary. It's scary, right? Sometimes you think about the traits that you really like in your parents and that you wish that you could emulate, and then there's other things that you say, I never want to be like that.
Yeah.
Think about that, okay, as you move forward. We're going to move on to the nature versus nurture argument, okay? So, we're going to go to the next slide. Alright. Here's some of my thoughts, okay? Is that I think nature plays an important role. That's genes, right, in the child's development. So what color eyes you have, what color hair, height sometimes. But I think nurture is much more important, and that's environment. That's surroundings, culture, influences. I'm going to give you two examples. Look at number 3. It says overweight, unintelligent parents. Will they pass these genes on to children? Let's say your parents are overweight, right? And a lot of people say, you know, that's because the parents are overweight, the child's overweight. To me, I don't think that that is a result of genes. I think that's a result of environment. So that child doesn't have to be overweight, right? There's a lot of, if there's influences around them in the environment that can help them make healthy choices, exercise, make right decisions about their lifestyle, they can overcome the heredity of their parents being overweight. That's just my one thought. Julian, question?
I think in some situations it does happen because like my dad, like his whole brothers and like they have the same belly. Like they're all like fat.
All your dad's brothers are